Are you trying to learn real Japanese from anime, books, YouTube, or manga? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up two tools, Yomitan and Anki. It's the fastest way to start memorizing words that really matter. And once you have these tools set up, you'll be able to create flashcards in real time, all while enjoying your favorite anime, manga, or books. Okay, so here's our first piece of the puzzle, Anki. It's an SRS, which is a spaced repetition system, and it will show us flashcards we save right when we're about to forget them. So you're gonna go over to this website and click download Anki, and based on what kind of computer you have, you're just gonna choose the right option. So I have Windows 10 Plus, so I'm gonna go ahead and download that. Okay, so after opening our installation that we just got, we're gonna go ahead and just choose wherever you want it to be downloaded. I'm gonna leave it here at the default path. Okay, so after opening Anki, you might see something that looks pretty boring, honestly, really bare bones. So we're gonna go ahead and go to the next step, which is installing Yomitan, and we'll come back to this. Okay, now hopping over to Yomitan's website here, it's a browser add-on. So we're gonna go ahead and just choose whatever browser you use. For me, I'm doing Chrome, and we'll go ahead and install that. So Yomitan's website does have a really good guide on getting this set up, but I know you're here for this video to get everything ready to go, so we'll just go through this really quick. Going down and looking at these recommended permissions, we want to allow Yomitan to scan text from most sites because that's what this tool is used for. And then also reading the clipboard and communicating with external programs. I personally like to turn this on. Going down to this next section here, we're learning Japanese, so the text that is being looked up is going to be set to Japanese. Recommended dictionaries, so you can see they already provide some pretty good ones here. We're just going to go ahead and download all of them so you can see really quickly what each one does. So we'll go ahead and let this download finish up, and I'll kind of show you how we can link this together to get working with Anki. Now that we have all of our dictionaries downloaded, we can look at either this quick start guide or we can just kind of wing it out ourselves. So we're going to go ahead and move to the settings page, and this is where we get to do all of our customization. So if you, for whatever reason, want to use a Japanese to Japanese dictionary because you've made that monolingual jump, you would just come here to dictionaries right here, and you can actually import your own files. Now, I do have my own zip files already, but those will be linked in the description in the event that you feel ready to do a monolingual Japanese translation. Now, what we really want to look at is scanning here. So we have a scanning key. I leave it at shift. That's just kind of what I've been used to, but you can change it to any of these. Now we have pop-up behavior, which is on the right here. You can actually see this is what a pop-up is going to look like. Now, one thing that I would change here is checking this and enabling it. The only reason is, let's say I look up the word yomu to read. I go down here and I see this word sakuhin, which means product. Now let's say I didn't know that and I wanted to scan it and I was curious, I would be able to kind of hover in here and scan it, and it would open a pop-up within a pop-up. So that is something that I would enable. I would put this up to something like whatever you want, but I'll put 10 there just for now. And here is where the magic happens, is Anki. So we want to enable Anki integration, and we'll want to make sure that Anki is actually open, or else we'll get this failure error here. And also we will probably need to get the add-on here for Yomi-chan. This is an add-on that you'll need for Anki to actually get it to work and communicate with Yomi-chan. So you can see this big number here, and that is the add-on code. So how you add add-ons in Anki, and you're going to find yourself probably doing this as you customize Anki more and more to your liking. We're going to go to Tools, Add-ons, Get Add-ons, and then you're going to paste in the code here. So we're going to go ahead and take this, paste it in, hit OK. And it'll just download it real quick. It says, please restart Anki to apply changes. So we'll go ahead and do that real quick. So we have this window open in the background with the add-on installed. So let's refresh this page, go back down to Anki, enable Anki integration. So you can see now it says connected. So we're going to kind of look at this and configure our Anki card format. So first, we need to make a deck for our sentence mining. So we're going to hop back over to Anki and get that set up. So we're going to go down and click Create Deck, and I'll just name the sentence mining. Once again, you can name it whatever. Okay, so now that we've created our sentence mining deck in Anki, what we're going to want to do is go to Browse, go down and find our deck, Sentence Mining, and then right-click it, Add Notes. And from here, we can format our cards. Now I'm going to go ahead and go here to the note types, manage, and add a new basic type. So we'll click OK, and then we'll just name it Sentence Mined Cards. Something basic, easy to remember, and we will go ahead and click that. And we will close that. And then we can choose that, just like so. And here is where we can kind of mess with our fields. So when you mine a sentence card, it's made up of a few essential parts. One is going to be the sentence, of course. Then maybe you'll have the word, the definition, and the screenshot. That's typically all you really need. So let's go ahead and start adding those fields in. So we will call this one sentence. I'm actually going to go ahead and just do the sentence, word, and definition. So we'll go ahead and save those. So now if we go to cards, you can actually see what's going to be on the front and back. So these cards are actually programmed in HTML. So if you're familiar with that, you can also use JavaScript to make your cards do all sorts of crazy things, but we'll keep it nice and light here. So when we see front template, this is what's on the front of the card, and on the back, what's on the back. So on the front, what we're going to actually want is probably the sentence. Whenever you do sentence mining, you're kind of testing yourself on what the sentence is, and when you read it, you're going to try to recall the meaning of the word, right? So we'll kind of come to the back here, and we'll have the front side here, we'll have the ID for the answer, and so we'll have word, and then something like this, definition, right? Actually, we'll go ahead and test this out right now. Yeah, so let's say we mined a sentence saying これはペンです, and the word was pen, and the definition is pen in English, right? So now we can go ahead and add it, and we can close this. And now we can kind of go back to the deck and see what our card looks like by using preview. So we can see on the front of the card, this is the sentence, これはペンです, and going to the back, we see the word that we were targeting, pen, and under that, the definition, pen. So now that we're happy with our deck and the fields that we've put in it, we're gonna go ahead and swing back to Yomi-chan. Now we're gonna go ahead and refresh this page because it's not gonna pull our new decks yet. And then we scroll back down to the Anki section. Now going here, we can do configure Anki card format again. And now we can see our sentence mining deck is showing up. So we're going to select that from the drop down. And the model here, remember how we made a card type earlier on and made our own field? So we're going to select that one. So for me, it's sentence mined to cards. And now sentence here. So Yomi-chan pulls a lot of information. You can see this long, overwhelming list. We don't have to worry about many of these. So we're just going to kind of see what matches up with what we want. So we can see sentence here. Right? We're going to match that with our sentence field that we defined. And then we have word. So we're going to go ahead and select the expression actually for this one. And then we have definition. So for this one, that's literally just, going to be glossary. And by the way, just to clarify, if you would rather have the word in hiragana, just in case you can't read the kanji, what you can actually do is down in Anki. If we just go ahead down here, you can actually change expression down here to reading. So that way it's always going to be in hiragana. Okay, now that we have it integrated with Anki, we should be good to go, but let's test it out on a website first. Let's just say that I wanted to learn this word, kuki, which is just air. You can actually see that down here. I'm gonna go ahead and click add here, and you'll see this little book symbol. So if we go ahead and click that and tab into Anki, you can see it's actually selected this card here in our browser. So I can go ahead and click preview to kind of just get an idea what it looks like. And there's our sentence. So once again, let's tab back over the article. You can see this is the same exact sentence that we just held shift and clicked on. So 日本の空にとても冷たい空気が入ってきました. So if we go ahead and flip it, you'll see here in hiragana is kuki. And we have these definitions and example sentences. A cool little bonus about this tool is that if you've already added a sentence, it's actually going to tell you that to reduce kind of redundancy. So if you're going to look here, we've already added this whole sentence with kuki in it. So any word that I scan, even if I don't know it or haven't added it yet, it's going to show purple buttons here, meaning that I've already added it. You can even see a plus in this book symbol here. Now, if I go down to a different sentence, these symbols here are green. So we haven't added the sentence yet. We haven't added the word. So now you know how to read and mine Japanese, but what about from streamed content like anime and videos? If you subscribe to Crunchyroll, you'll notice that they don't have Japanese subtitles. And with Netflix, you need a VPN to get around it and actually watch all the Japanese shows that have Japanese subtitles. And that's a headache. So I'm gonna show you a really quick, free, easy way to get this done. So we're gonna go to a site called jimaku.cc, right? And it has pretty much every anime and Japanese TV show under the sun, so you can just look up whatever you want to watch. For me, it's gonna be Hunter x Hunter. So if we look down here, Hunter x Hunter, episode 1. I'll just download the first episode for the purpose of this video. We're going to look up an add-on. It's called ASB Player. I'll put that in the description as well. And what this add-on does is it lets you drag a subtitles file and drop it onto any playable video on the internet. Doesn't matter what website, doesn't matter what video, and it will overlay and play the subtitles over it. So if we go ahead and go back to Crunchyroll, I have the add-on enabled here, as you can see. So we're just going to go ahead and drag and drop. We can see their logo pop up. So I'm going to let go. Let's just hit play and see if everything syncs up. So it's not synced up right now. So we can see Michi, which means unknown. I'm going to listen for that now and see when that starts. And I'll show you how to sync the subtitles to the video.
Michi.
Okay, so you just said michi. So when you want to re-time subtitles here, all you do is hold down the control key and you do left or right arrow to scroll through them, and it'll unpause the subtitles from wherever you have the video paused at. So he just started this subtitle here, michi, so I'm gonna hit left arrow to go back one subtitle and then right arrow to come back to it. So now you can see plus 333 milliseconds, that's just the offset of the subtitles. So now if I unpause, it should be more or less synced.
という言葉が放つ魔力、その力に魅せられたすごい奴らがいる。人は彼らをハンターと呼ぶ。
So you can see we now have done the impossible. We have Japanese subtitles on Crunchyroll for free and easy access. And the cool thing is, just like that other website where we just hovered over the text with our hotkey, we can do the same thing here because it's just text. So let's say I wanted to learn the word yobu, to call. I can do it right here. I can add a card, I can click the book here, it'll open up in my Anki browser, and I can even preview it, and you're gonna see it matches up with the subtitles on the screen. And I have all this juicy info right here. Now, there are 3 big issues that a lot of people run into even after getting these mining setups going, and the first one is, how do I know if a sentence is worth mining or not? And that's broken into 2 parts. One, n+1 or i+1. But what that basically means is that you know every word in the sentence except for one. Let's say that, for example, so in your native language, maybe let's say it's Japanese, cable, right? Or something like that, or waya, and you're studying English, right? This is a red cable. Now you know every word in that sentence except for cable, right? So when I say this is a red blank, you automatically know what I'm talking about, right? Because there's context, because I'm here waving this in your face, you know what this object is. You have the visual context, and even in some cases you'll have the text context with the subtitles, because it makes it easier to capture the words, right? So now let's apply this to Japanese. So we're gonna take this one sentence right here, which is actually split into 2 separate subtitles. So I'm gonna let it play first. Okay, cool. So let's break it into 2 parts. I'm gonna purposely remove one word from the English translation and see if you can fill it in. So it's saying 5 big strong men couldn't even pull that fish out of the water. So what makes you think the blank of 1 kid is enough? And I'll repeat that second part. So what makes you think that the blank of 1 kid is enough? So if you answered strength or power, you're right. And we can see that with the visual context, with all of the words that we knew, we were able to pretty much with 99% confidence determine the meaning of this word. Kodomo hitori no chikara. So not only are you relying on the context from the scene, from the anime, which is what makes immersion so great, you're actually relying on the context from the other words. It's really helping you figure out exactly what the word means and also how it's used. Okay, so now we know which sentences are worth mining, but how do we know which words are worth mining? So what that comes down to really is how common are they? How often you're going to hear them popping up in your favorite anime, shows, books, whatever, right? So let's take the word that we just mined, chikara for example. So going back to those dictionaries we downloaded earlier, some of those were frequency dictionaries, which are pretty important here. On the left here, this number is a bit higher, but this is written frequency essentially from literature, and this is from JPDB, which is a lot of modern daily spoken Japanese from anime and shows. So we can see it's actually quite common. For reference, according to research, the average native Japanese speaker has a passive vocabulary of around 30,000 on average. So we can see with something being in the top 200 Japanese words or top 300, that's pretty dang common. And same for kodomo, which is kid. We can see it's also expectedly a low number because, let's be honest, in our native languages, the word for kid probably pretty commonly used. Now let's go to a different subtitle where we might have a more rare word. Yeah, hikyo, right? So 31,000th, and then over here, 27.5 thousandth most common word. So a Japanese person is probably gonna know this word. For language learners, it's really not going to give you as much of a bang for your buck as if you were to learn those more common words. It also depends on what sort of content you're kind of immersing in. If I'm playing a lot of JRPG adventure games, then this word probably is gonna feel a lot more common than the frequency numbers here are telling me. So it really depends on what you're using. But in general, if you're ever questioning yourself and wondering, is this word really worth my time? Then refer to these numbers here. If you think the word's gonna stick pretty easily and you understand its meaning, I don't think there's really harm or time wasted in adding a card for it. But this is just a really good rule of thumb. So you're ready to mine now. You are officially a Japanese immersion pro. Now, one more thing I wanna leave you with though, is how many new words a day should you be learning? So I initially started out with 5, and I was like, this is way too easy. So I bumped it up to 50 new words a day, burnt out, and didn't study Japanese for 3 months. So in the end, it actually hurt me more than it helped. So what I would recommend doing is start with 5 words a day and just do that for like a week or even a month. Because what's going to happen is your reviews are going to pile up as you get words right or wrong when you're reviewing, and those review cards are going to add up. So imagine doing 10 new words a day versus 100. Well, that means you're also going to have not only 10 times new words, you're going to have 10 times the reviews to do, and your study sessions are going to get 10 times as long. So depending on how much time and energy you have to dedicate to learning Japanese every day, that'll kind of vary. So yeah, just make sure that you don't overburden yourself because you're going to get burnt out, and neither of us want that. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like, and if you love this video, consider subscribing, and let me know down in the comments what made Japanese finally click for you. And while SRS is a really big part of learning a language, if you want to learn how it fits into the bigger picture, go ahead and check out my video on why Japanese is actually easier than you think. And we have a wonderful Discord community full of passionate Japanese learners just like you, so if you want to connect, feel free to join that. It'll be down in the description. And as always, keep learning, keep immersing, and keep having fun with Japanese, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.